Now that we have a little bit of our data class functionality built up, let's go ahead and actually start working through the requirements for the lab and adding what we need to add. So in terms of the account data type, we have some properties which are different from what we need for an instructor, but we already have some properties and some additional properties for the subclasses. Right now, we just have one additional one additional property, and then so we have an account list class, except it's an instructor list, and then the account object should provide an override stir operator. We did that already. We also did REPR for representation. And then this one is asking for a change password method that will allow you to change the password and also updates the date you last changed the password. So let's come back to that. What I'm going to provide is a way of editing the information associated with an instructor. And so it won't just be changing the password. But I'm going to come back to that when I have a little bit more fleshed out in my interface. So in addition to the above, account list object should provide a list method. That's a good place to start. An add method that adds an account object. I already have that. I have this, but it's really rudimentary, so I'm going to want to expand it. And then override the add operator so that you can add multiple account lists together. And I'll come back to that when I have multiple account lists in my program. And then a remove method that deletes an account object from the list of accounts. So these are all going to be pretty easy to add. And then I think the real meat of where to start is going to be in this password manager class, because this is what's implementing the user interface. And we can start adding functionality to the interface one item at a time, and then also add the support that we need in terms of our data classes. So first thing it says is show a list of current account lists. And for us, this would be a list of current courses that include course instructors. And in order to show the list, you have to have a list to show. And so what I'm going to do is sort of hard code some starter data. So normally this would be read from the database when the program starts up, but we haven't talked about the database code yet. So I'm just going to hard code it to basically include some instructor lists of instructors. So let's go ahead and pull up PyCharm. And first thing we want to do here in our course instructors UI is comment out all of this stuff. So the test code we don't really need anymore. And then let's go ahead and add a static property to the course instructors UI for course lists. And that's going to be a single list. And then in the run method here, we're going to go ahead and initialize course lists. Sorry, this should be lower snake case. And let's go ahead and make it private as well. We're not using all instructors yet anywhere. So let's go ahead and say course lists is going to be equal to read course lists. So there's going to be a call somewhere that actually goes out to the database, reads the course lists and the instructors, and then returns that in the form of lists of objects. But what we're going to do is right now we're just going to have it as a local method inside of the course instructors UI. And then there only needs to be one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and make this be a static method. And then what it's going to return is a list of instructor lists. So let's say lists is equal to a list. And then the first item is going to be an instructor list. And then the instructor lists just have a name parameter. So let's say I have one for all instructors. And that's going to hold all of the instructors. And then we'll have one for, let's do CIS 120 and CIS 121 and CIS 122. And then let's do CIS 133Y and CIS 233Y. And I think that's more than enough. And then if I want to go ahead and add instructors to each of these lists, I'd put the code here and then return lists. So for the first one, lists of 0, that's going to be a list of, actually what I want to do here, let's do it this way. So all is equal to this. And then I'm going to do each of these. So this will just make it easier to add instructors to these things. And then CIS 121. Okay. So then I have all, and this is probably going to be short enough that I can put it on one line. So let me go ahead and do that. So CIS 120, CIS 121, 122, 133Y, and 233Y. And then I return them. And then and then let's make some instructors. So I have here a convenient list of everybody who's taught each of our courses since roughly 2014, 2015, including the name of the instructor and the last time, the most recent time they taught the course. And so if I scroll up to the top here, here's a list of all the instructors who taught 120 over the last, 5 or 6 years. And it's more that I really want to deal with. So let's just do like 4 or 5 people. So squish this around a little bit. Actually, let's do it this way. Ack. Okay, there we go. All right, so we'll do RC is equal to a new, he's a full-time instructor. And I want to supply first name, last name, and then I don't know middle initials, so I'm just going to do A. And G number should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3. So Rocco, Po Chin, Ira, Russ, Jeff. Pochin, Ira Herbs, Russ Erdman, Jeff Fried. And then Ira Herbs. And Russ Erdman, Jeff Fried. And then we'll just do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we'll do CIS 120.add RC. Actually, why don't we just do this? So for instructor in RCPC IEREJF, CIS 120.add instructor. And then for 121, we have Pochin, Jeff, Dan Heinig. DH is full-time instructor. Dan Heinig. G8. And then we'll also do Nelson Iggy. Actually, most of these are part-time instructors. So Rocco and Pochin are full-time. Ira's part-time. Russ is part-time. Jeff is part-time. Daniel is part-time. Nelson is part-time. And then I'll just do one more for that. So Greg Jackson I already have. So let me grab Greg Jackson. And I'll add myself as well. Okay, so now I have some instructors. And then for 121, we're going to add Pochin and Jeff Fried and Dan Heinig and Nelson Iggy and Greg Jackson. And then for CIS 122, we have Rocco and Pochin, Jeff, me, Nelson, Greg, and then a bunch of other people that I don't have on my list. That's close enough. And then I want to do 133Y2. And so far that's just me and Greg. So MG and GJ. And then I'll do 233 as well. And I'll just add myself for now. Okay, so that should make my list of lists, and then I'm setting that into all instructors. And then So read course lists, and that's going to return lists. So this should be, since it's a static method, I'm calling course instructors UI read course lists. And then just to see if this part's working, I'm going to call print on self dot under. Actually, this is static. Yeah. So let's run it, see what I get. So I got a bunch of instructor lists. And then let's go ahead and also print course lists sub 0, so the first instructor list on that list of lists. And that's all instructors. So let me do all instructors. So that's going to be everybody here. So RC, PC, IE, RE, JF, DH, NI, GJ, and MG. So let me try it now. Actually, all instructors is all. Okay, so let me try it now. Good. So here's my lists, and then here's the contents of the all instructors list. All right. So in the next video, I'll put together a simple menu and we'll add the print method to it.